Hello everybody, welcome to our broadcast.
Hello and welcome to our monthly broadcast. We're looking at the remainder of the month of May and then looking into the entire month of June. It's quite a pivotal month with some really big turning points, and we're delighted to be here to give you this advance, really,
Heads up.
Shocking, almost shocking look at the upcoming energies. And so for those of you who've been with us for a while, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we warmly welcome you.
Yes, well, Carola has a look at the astrological side of things. I tend to look more into the human design side of things, so we try to give you as complete a picture as we possibly can.
Right, we both know both systems, but that's our concentration and focus. So let's start with a little bit of an overview. 2020, this year. At the beginning of the year, back in December of 2019, we named this year, so we name every year for our Energies and Opportunities program, we named this year the year of personal empowerment and dramatic change. Well, was that an understatement or what?
Yeah.
So the thing about this time, and the reason it's so pivotal, is that in June and early July, the energies are the linchpin, the essential pivot point that we're invited to make for the entire year of 2020. So if you've been on a path of self-discovery, if you've been working with personal empowerment, if you're seeking greater success and more fulfillment, both in your work or in your business or in your personal life, you are in the right place. We're delighted to be with you. Each month we give you a little advanced look at our upcoming promotions. And this month we are featuring moi.
Let me just explain about Carola a little bit. What is it, 35 years now as a spiritual astrologer and a business
33.
coach?
Don't give me any more years than I already have.
If you really want to find out what's going on for yourself astrologically, you need to check in with her.
Well, astrologically, but also energetically. So this month's special is my life path readings. So to find it, you simply go to our website, Human Design for Us All, FOR Us All, humandesign4us all.com/life-path-readings.
It's got an S on the end, readings?
I believe so. You'll find it.
Life-path-reading.
Right. So in my life path reading, what I do is I incorporate not just the astrological energies, but also your human design. So I'm holding an awareness of your design as I'm delivering the astrological information. I'm looking ahead in time. It's a 90-minute deep dive with me. So we're going to look at your map to explore all of the current trends, the upcoming trends, the specific challenges that you may be meeting this year and next year. So we look into 2021 as well, and how to meet those challenges so they don't hinder you, as well as the upcoming opportunity cycles, which there are many, and how to make the best use of them personally. So how you individually, uniquely make the best use of them. And the beauty, what I'm doing this month is my special is that you will have the 90-minute deep dive life path reading with me. We'll record that. We'll be live together. And then you'll have a bonus full 1-hour coaching session with me, scheduled a week or two after our reading, so that I assist you to integrate all the information into what you're doing now with your life and planning ahead for your future creation. So for those of you who feel that this is your time, I'm excited to work with you. Let's launch into the year, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so we're broadcasting here on May 23rd, and we're looking at this period of time, the last week of May, into June, through June 30th. So the overview is that earlier in May we had 3 planets change apparent direction and begin retrograde motion. Since each planet represents an area of human experience, for instance, Mercury is our thinking, our communicating function, Mars is our work, our business, and what else should I give you? So if we look at Venus, that's our love life, our money life. So each planet represents a particular area. The retrograde means that the customary activity related to that planet's function is going through a period of review. And this year is remarkable because we have not only the normal retrogrades with the big outer planets that happen every year, but we also have the retrograde of Venus and Mars, with, of course, Mercury's usual retrogrades that happen 3 times a year. So you could almost say it's a retrograde year. It's a year for looking back, for rediscovering what's important to us, for redoing a lot of our approach, the way we've been conducting our business or our professional life, the way we are in relationships and our love life, how we relate to money, our values. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of review. And the first of this retrograde happened with Saturn, which has to do with the structures that society has in place and also has to do with our karma. So looking at all the structures that we have in place, what's working, what isn't working. And then Venus, and we'll be giving you specifics as we go, but Venus will turn retrograde, and of course Venus is our love life, it's our money flow, it's pleasure, it's enjoyment, it's artistic expression. When it goes retrograde, we'll be reviewing that entire area of our life, and then followed by Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion and growth, beneficial type growth, and it also will go retrograde. So these retrogrades, interestingly, did their turn just a couple weeks ago, May 11th through the 14th. So all 3 of them together, boom, 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 went retrograde. So much of the forward momentum that we've been enjoying and experiencing in these particular arenas will be delayed. It'll go through a period of rethinking, review, testing. Our healthcare and educational systems are up for review in a big way, as well as all monetary systems, our values, and our love relationships. So hold on to your hat. It's going to be an exciting month.
So just to say, with at least the American economy, we might have to say, tied to the business world, it has gone into a massive depression, right? And the great thing for us as individuals is we don't have to follow the depression. We don't have to go into depression ourselves. We said this is a year of dramatic change, but we also said it's a year of personal empowerment. I think there's a lot of people considering, well, I just have to go back to where I left off, and that is not going to happen. It's changed. Everything has changed. And so it's all about finding creative ways through at the moment. And we are really getting a lot of empowerment to be able to make those changes. And sometimes the change is really an uncomfortable thing. I really like the old pattern, it was so easy to deal with kind of thing. But in retrospect, and with these retrogrades, we're having the possibility to really review, was my life really being served as it was in the previous way? Did I actually have a life? Did I have to go on pause mode for a couple of months to realize, actually, there's a bit more to life than perhaps was being offered to me at that time? So just the emphasis at the moment is to see, this is a pivotal time. We can actually make a shift out of these old, very, I'm going to say fossilized ways of doing things that we were persuaded to do. If you're looking for the government or political parties or whatever to sort things out for us, the government only serves, when you really look at it, only serves the people that are really struggling or the people that, want to take advantage of things. And as individuals, we're probably not necessarily included in that, or we don't need to be. We're not necessarily in a base of anything. We're here as pure individuals, pure expressions of consciousness in human form. We're in an amazing time where this pivotal change can really do something amazing for us. So just bear with us as we get into June. We see these retrogrades, we see these reviews going on about all our work situations, our love situations, our thinking, our travel, all of that, And remember, where is the fun in our life? We did not come here to be miserable. We did not come here to be depressed. We came here to have a full-on life experience. So let's have a look, see what we've got for you.
Let's start with the new moon that actually happened yesterday, May 22nd. New moon at 2 degrees of Gemini, and that sets the new month-long cycle in which we're compelled to rethink how we approach our work, how we fulfill our work, Some of us may even be looking deeper, questioning how much we love our work, or even do we like our work. And if not, then time for some decisions, at least for getting some clarity. It may not be time to move on that clarity, but the clarity needs to come first. If you use your human design chart and you know how to use it well, then always work with your clarity, however you find that uniquely in your design, to help you to make the most important life decisions. It works.
It does work.
Yeah.
It takes a little patience, takes a little practice sometimes.
At first.
But it works.
Yeah, and then it becomes natural. So we have a time, we're entering a time with this new moon of high creativity, high innovation. That's going to continue even as the world responds to some drastic changes. Our long-term plans are delayed. And you know, they won't become actualized because it just isn't time yet to put them in motion. That doesn't mean they're not going to happen. It just means there's a natural timing, there's a natural rhythm. And you're going to talk with us about that, I think. So frustration can mount, and it can become anger, as you know, many people start to feel, like you were saying, Chetan, stymied in their natural flow of life. What we do this year with the enormous challenges we face will determine what we're able to and how we're able to restabilize and build on a more enlightened foundation. So this is a powerful new moon that's really setting the stage for the coming eclipses that we'll see, 2 in June, 1 in early July, that are going to lead us to breakthroughs. And speaking of breakthroughs, this new moon itself that happened yesterday has brought a breakthrough, or a potential breakthrough, with Mercury and Venus forming an exact conjunction. So Venus traveling in retrograde, crossing over Mercury traveling direct, and meeting exactly together, which in itself can be a fun thing, especially in Gemini. But they're also in a right angle to Neptune. So what's happening with that is potentially there's just things we can't see clearly yet. It just can feel like a bit of a fog. Like, are we coming out of a fog? Are we getting the right information? Do we even know what truth is? And so it has us again really questioning deeper, which is not a bad thing. This high innovation energy keeps on going. So we have some flowing aspects as well. We have some good things happening. We have some good planning that can help to stabilize us in the times to come and help us step up into that new frequency, that new foundation that we're rebuilding our lives on.
So at the same time that the same time that Venus did her retrograde, the early May or middle May, there was this other shift in the human design scene where the planet Uranus moved into gateway number 24. And 24 is in the top of the mind center, and it's where we rationalize what it is that's going on in our world. At the same time, Pluto, transiting very, very slowly, is in gateway number 61. And 61 is the gateway of inner truth. The last time Pluto was in that part of the sky, there was a whole tea party going on in Boston and a bunch of other things that happened after that. There was a whole revolution that took place because the rule systems were not serving the people. So the fact that Uranus is now in the gate 24, it's made a whole channel for everybody. It's going to be this channel there for the next several months, all the way through November. So all of us are going to get these intense downloads at the moment. You probably realize that. Disturbed sleep, strange things happening in your life, massive insight about very simple things sometimes. And the fact that it's Pluto, which is the planet of rearrangement, on a dramatic scale, and Uranus, which is trying to take us into a fifth dimensional view of things, totally a breakthrough dimension. So, it can be very disturbing for everybody. And I just say, there's going to be a lot of chaos in the world as a result of this, people trying to figure out what's going on in their head. And the greatest thing is when there's a lot of chaos going on around us, conspiracy theory, government moves, financial breakdowns, work scene issues, all part of a hurricane of chaos. The only place to be is right in the middle, in your own life, in your own center. And I'm going to read to you what I wrote about the new moon placement that happened yesterday. It was in gate 20, which is the gateway we call the gateway. A gateway always has one side of one flavor and another side of another flavor. So it's neutral ground in a sense. So this new moon took place in a neutral ground where it gives us the opportunity to see both sides of our life. The third line is called being objective, developing an ability to watch thoughts and actions impassively. It's about being in that center and watching the chaos of the world going on around us. At the moment, life might seem very, very busy. We're scrambling to try and put things back together again. But let's just say things are not going to go back together again.
As they were, right?
Things are going to take on into a new form altogether. And so this is our great opportunity to be able to download these incredible insights that are coming our way, to not be overly disturbed by them, to watch the chaos of conspiracy and chaos around us as impassively as we possibly can, from our own center, from our own truth. That is really the key as we come to the end of the merry month of May.
You know, that just brings me back to what a huge gift human design is. Because when we know how to find our truth, something that we knew when we were babies, when we were young children, before society and well-meaning parents and teachers and all of that started messing with us, started telling us the way we should be instead of allowing us to be the natural way.
You're not allowed to play anymore.
Yeah, you have to be a grown-up. So, so what we're doing, you know, the huge gift of human design, and it's really a system for the 21st century, is about returning us to that naturalness, to what actually essentially works for us individually, uniquely, as our way of moving through life, as our way of making the most important life decisions. I can't emphasize this enough because, you know, because I started out doing psychological counseling and astrology, you know, 33 years ago, and I had a long 20-year practice of that before I learned transformational coaching and human design. So what I discovered is that when we, you know, make the wrong decisions for important things in our life, so like we marry the wrong person, right? Or we choose the wrong career path, or we decide we have children when we're not ready, you know, big life decisions that we didn't make from a place of clarity, that can cost us years, and even I've seen decades of pain and of regret. So really, if you do anything different this year, practice your human design. Okay, so here we are. Let's look at the end of May, going into the beginning of June. The end of May 29th, actually has a first quarter moon, Venus continuing her retrograde all the way through, you could say really through June, although she turns June 24th, 25th, but she's going to be moving so slowly that might as well consider it's a retrograde Venus June this year. And so we'll be in that period of review of our finances, our love life, and how we enjoy, find pleasure. The new moon aspects show Venus in her retrograde now moving, you know, moving closer to the conjunction of the sun. So we saw the conjunction of Venus and Mercury, which was a turning point. Now we're seeing the movement towards the conjunction of Venus and the sun, which is a powerful still point in which we can get realizations. So those realizations are coming. Intuition is really flowing here at the end of May with the first quarter moon and a beautiful triangle to Uranus, the planet that has to do with innovation, new ideas, breakthroughs, and stepping into a higher frequency, a higher level of consciousness. We also have the planet Chiron, which has to do with healing, in a very powerful sextile, a linking energy with the sun. So whatever healing that we need to do within ourselves, this is a beautiful, poignant time to do that. So get with your healer, get with your counselor, get with your coach, and really work through anything that feels stuck inside, so you free yourself up for the new creation that is right around the corner.
So as we enter into June, and for the first week in June, all of us, we still, of course, have this channel the 6124, which is giving us this massive pressure in our brains to, fathom out what is being offered to us, what is the breakthrough that's being offered to us. You've got to appreciate, Pluto goes around us in 250 years, Uranus goes around us in 84 years, so the fact that they're in this exact connection at the moment is a very, very rare occurrence. And, it's likely to say nobody has ever had anything like this kind of pressure on their brain before. So just to be really clear about that, that's something that's going to follow through with us all the way through November this year. It's going to be with us again a large part of 2021. So get used to it. This is realizing if ever there was a time to be meditative or calm inside oneself, to find the spaces between the scenes around us in life, to have those moments of quiet. This is really the time to be developing this, to find that calm, that quiet inside. What is also happening in this first week of the month of June is all of us by transit are getting another channel in our design, and it's the channel 515. It's a fascinating channel, this, because this channel, out of all the 36 channels in human design, this is the one channel that is common to all living things. So anything that's got even a vague pulse, even talking about flowers and insects and everybody has this alignment with this channel. Universal timing. What is universal timing? It is natural timing. It is the seasons. It is the patterns. It is the tides. It is all these things, anything except to do with a clock. So you know how our lives have absolutely been entrained to pay attention to the ticks of a clock. And this week, this first week of June, is absolutely the time to reconnect with nature and the natural.
And the natural timing.
The natural rhythms inside ourselves. When we're hungry, we eat. When we feel like going for a walk, we go for a walk. When we feel like reading a book, we read a book. When we feel like going to bed, we go to bed. Right? And just start attuning again to this natural rhythm. Be out in nature. Watch the nature. Watch everything just taking care of itself in its own very, very special way. Everything on this planet is attuned to this natural timing. So for this first week, we all have this amazing opportunity. It's an interaction between the North Node Destiny, which is where we're going, the 15th gateway, the love of humanity, and this connection between us all, the gateway, I would say, of trust, and the 5th gateway, which is the activated in the first part by the Earth, and this has everything to do with timing, natural timing. Great time to be gardening, apart from anything else, but just really enjoying the natural flow, the nature.
So, into June we go. June begins with the first of these 3 significant eclipses. And an eclipse brings a really powerful turning point in our life experience. It's a change in our lives, and some eclipses are more powerful than others. This first one does not have the magnitude that the next one will have, but it is going to be especially effective at working with us in terms of our whole social life, our social arena, and our future vision, our big dreams and visions and plans. It occurs on June 5th. It's a lunar eclipse, so the full moon in Gemini, at the full moon in Sagittarius, opposite the sun in Gemini. An interesting factor for this one is that the Venus retrograde joins the sun in Gemini in this eclipse point. So in effect, this change is not a normal eclipse. It's also affecting, not only our path and our purpose in life, which would be shown by the sun, but also our social arena that we play in, how we play out our path in terms of our social life. But also our love relationships, our values, our money flow, that attraction factor that attracts to us all the things that our hearts desire. So it's a big, important eclipse, even though it doesn't have this huge magnitude. It's something to really sit with and be with. The eclipse point is also highly challenged by Mars and Neptune together in Pisces, forming a right angle to it. So it's shaking up our illusions. Anything that isn't really true is getting truly challenged by this eclipse. It's It's going to shake up the world of commerce. It's, we've already seen that. We're going to see that, as Chetan was saying, some changes that were necessitated by the corona emergency throughout the world are going to become to some degree permanent changes. We're also going to see that the whole world of commerce is being shaken up, that hidden factors that we haven't been aware of start to get brought to light, and at the same time, people have been restless. And that restlessness, if it continues, can go into reactivity. We can see outbreaks of violence, that sort of thing. Again, stay in your center, stay in your clarity. Those of us who can hold the light, hold the vision, hold the beauty of life, hold the love that we are in our hearts and our beings, are radiating into the world a healing energy without really having to specifically focus on that. That's simply what we're doing through the love that we are, and through not being thrown off track by everybody's fear.
So very often when I'm working with somebody and I see they have a potential to kind of buy into other people's input, I say, look, here's a really great exercise for you. Go into a place where there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Maybe a party or some kind of gathering. And I know that's maybe not so attractive at the moment, but realize around you there's a lot of chaos, and see how absolutely not to be in any way connected to that, and just to be absolutely calm and quiet inside yourself. This particular new moon that takes place with an eclipse, again, it's activated when the Earth and the Moon are lined up together. It's actually a full moon eclipse, and the Sun is in gate 35, which is the gateway of growth and increase, and there's bound to be a lot of energy for things to expand and grow very quickly. Come on, let's get the economy back again, get it all working. And the full moon is taking place in the 5th gateway, which is the gateway of waiting. It's a gateway that's part of this channel, the 515, which I've been saying is this channel of natural universal timing. Everything has its right timing. And the full moon takes place in the 5th line of the 5th gateway, and the line is called inner balancing. Innocent acceptance of life's rhythm is a vital quality of being. Seeing what life offers can be a delight, or, if you insist life should bring more, a challenge. So here it is with this eclipse. It's like, really, you want to put your foot flat on the gas already and just go, go, go? Or have we all learned something from this time of holding back a little bit, recognizing what it is that is our truth?
Getting with ourselves again, right?
Yeah. So, we call this year the personal empowerment. The personal empowerment is about living our own truth. And again, we can only say, when you really understand how your human design works for you, that's what we're talking about.
And you naturally return to living your truth.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you find this natural rhythm again.
Then you start attracting the experiences and the people and the opportunities that are really meant for you, that are right for you. So if we look a little deeper into this eclipse, not only do we have the challenges of the eclipse that I already mentioned, the big shake-up in our values, our love life, our money life, or, rethinking everything around those lines. Big changes in terms of where we're going in life and how we bring our sense of purpose and identity into the world. I mean, that's no small stuff with this eclipse. But the other thing is that we also have some very flowing aspects that are supporting the positive changes that are meant to come out of this shakeup. So we've got, again, Mercury, the planet of communication, and this linking energy with the planet that has to do with high intuition, Uranus. So we've got that intuitive flow. All we need to do is tune into it. Just slow down enough, be still enough to tune into that intuitive flow. We all have access to it. It isn't that some people are intuitive or some people are psychic. We all are. But those who've developed that art have done so by putting some focus on it and some attention on it. Then we also have Chiron, which is the planet of healing, interacting very positively with the eclipse, bringing creating a possible alignment with our higher self at another level, at a level which we haven't perhaps cultivated before. So we could see breakthroughs happening, innovations happening at this time. It's time to get answers, and also important to stay focused on what is true for us. So as we move in a little further past the early eclipse of June, we see that we then have a third quarter moon on June 12th. And do you want to interact about that time a bit before?
I was just going to say about, you were talking about Chiron. Chiron, it's something that was discovered in the 70s, and it is very important for us to appreciate its presence in our world, because Chiron is making the balance between what we've discerned as the rule systems, or we might even describe the karma in our life, things that have to get repaired on some level or another. There's a way to have to get through, and the planet Uranus that gives us this absolute breakthrough. It's like, yes, get the rule and move. And Chiron does this orbit between the two of them. And so it's on one side of it, it's yes, we're cognizant of the rules and the things that we've got to take responsibility for. On the other side of it is why, plod along dealing with this stuff. Why not get it and make a dramatic shift? And so Chiron is in this place at the moment in the 17th hexagram and the 6th line. And this is a line that we call being the Bodhisattva. And what I'm going to say about its placement there is, apart from all the revelations that we're getting at the moment, there are going to be some extraordinary teachers appear, or I could say some extraordinary teachings to appear. And I'm just going to say, all of us are going to attune to these people in our own realm, in our own very particular ways. But there's that whole thing of recognizing when something resonates with you. It just, it's like a musical chord, and it just vibrates everything in you. Then you will know you're getting the truth. You're getting something that is really important for you in your life. And I'm just saying, be aware of that. We're moving out of this age of plodding along. We're moving out of a Saturnian age. We're moving into a Uranian age, into an Aquarian age. And we're right in it at the moment. So be aware. I'm not saying don't do the work. I'm not saying don't do the deep dive into yourself. Absolutely do that. But being aware that there's also this possibility of making a massive shift by getting an extraordinary insight, or just recognizing what you're hearing is something profoundly right for you.
Like a wake-up call?
Massively so.
Let's look at the third quarter moon. So this third quarter moon happens between two eclipses, the one we just talked about in early June, and then the one that we'll see coming up after that. What is interesting about first of all, the third quarter moon is a stage in the monthly cycle that follows naturally from, we have a new moon, which is the beginning of a new energy experience for the month, that builds up to the first quarter moon. That's our first turning point with it, our first point of, I see what I need to put in action, or what I need to learn or do. And then we have the full moon, which is the realization of it. Okay, here it all is. Here's the meaning we've been looking for, the direction, the vision, the full experience, or the full understanding. And now at the third quarter moon, we're just about entering a point where we're wrapping up the energy of 1 month in preparation for beginning the new energy for the coming month. So it's another pivotal time. And it happens on the 12th of June. Mercury, the planet of communication, is about to turn retrograde. That happens on the 17th of June. So just a few days from this third quarter moon, Mercury goes retrograde. And now we're going to have 4 planets in retrograde motion. And Mercury retrograde is going to bring a lot of rethinking, how we're doing things, looking at how we can redo our life, our business, perhaps our love life, certainly our monetary situation, and where we are with that. And it's just going to really emphasize that, because we're already in a review of our monetary situation, our love life. What the Mercury retrograde in the sign of Cancer will add to that is looking at where do we really find our safety and our security? What is safe and secure? And we're a bit challenged to find that. What is it that we can absolutely count on?
Cast in stone.
Right. And what we can count on is ourself, our relationship to spirit, and our own way of knowing our own truth. When you begin living from that place, so it's not just conceptual, you see your life begin to unfold in a way that feels almost magical. So that's the possibility here, that Venus continuing her retrograde motion in Gemini, still forming this very powerful linking energy with Chiron, which has to do with healing, with awakening to the higher self, with the merging of the higher self and the lower self, or the integration of the higher self and the lower self. Venus in this very positive aspect with Chiron, illuminating the path for healing and the path for integration for us. We also have the exact conjunction of the planet Mars. That's our work in the world with Neptune, which is our ideal sense of life, of God, of meaning, of universality. And when they're exactly conjunct, it's also in a right angle. Both planets in a very powerful right angle, right here at the third quarter moon on June 12th, in a right angle square, saying it's breakthrough time. It's time to actually see clearly, get that breakthrough, get that understanding, have the realization, and as Chetan was saying, move on it. Don't just have it be something you're experiencing passively, but take action. It's now or never for your clarity to emerge, for the energies that are available to us now, this beautiful linking energy with Jupiter and Pluto, also in Capricorn, over to those Pisces planets, saying, the new structures, it's time to see what new structures need to be put in place. So a lot of high creativity in the midst of these big challenges of this eclipse-filled time.
So an interesting thing happens when we get to around the 13th of June, and that is the sun goes into gateway number 12, which is the gateway we call standstill, and it's a gateway from which we can get tremendous forward viewing if we actually do stop and stand still. Those times in your life where you're just kind of getting on with things and you maybe head down and focused and concentrated in something, and then all of a sudden something gets you to raise your eyes up and, you see an opening, you see a gateway, you see, where did that come from? I never would have thought something like that was available. This week, from the 13th, is a week in which there are going to be doorways opening for us. And the whole question is, do we raise our head? Do we get out of a sense of, I'm stuck in the mud here, and see, oh goodness, something completely different is being offered to me here? What is happening with the sun going into gateway number 12, Neptune and Mars are both in gateway number 22, the gateway of grace, and where grace allows us to see things that were not necessarily obvious to us before. And so this whole channel, it's what we call a manifesting channel in human design. It's an emotional manifesting channel. It's an opportunity to really go beyond whatever we might have considered as a limitation for ourselves before, by just realizing, wow, there's another whole different way of doing this. And it happens because we can move into this place of standstill. Now, as Carola was saying, this planet of Mercury that has everything to do with our communications, our travels, our thinking about things. And we always say, before there's a Mercury retrograde, back up your computer and get your car fixed if there's something a little iffy with it.
Reconfirm your airline flights, that sort of thing.
If we're flying. 39 line 5 is where this Mercury turn takes place. And the 39 is the gateway we call provocation. You might say, why is there a part of our nature that provokes? Well, what it does is it provokes our spirit. Now, a lot of us have been persuaded, yes, just get on with life. Spirit's another thing, just get on with your life. So the 39 every now and again gives us a poke, gives us a jab and says, oh, you can dance, you can celebrate, you can jump up and down, you can have fun. You can remember your spirited nature that is just part of this seen. It relies on our body to carry us through our life, but it is within us. And so this Mercury turn on the 5th line is the line it's called finding assistance. By facing obstacles directly, help becomes available. Right? It's just to realize, okay, I'm maybe out of my depth. Maybe I've no idea what I'm supposed to do. Whatever was has gone. What am I supposed to do now? And it's just, okay, I surrender to this situation. I'm open to it. What is it that life is trying to offer me? And then, of course, according to your design, life will chime in with something or other. How about this? How about that? How about the other? And as I say, we're all getting these massive downloads at the moment of things that we've never considered before, that these things take us completely out of something that's just been set forever, secure, what we've always relied on, and offers us something, maybe a complete risk, who knows. I'm saying pay attention to these things. I'm not saying do crazy stuff, but I am saying pay attention to these things that are being offered to all of us at this time. We're not going back, we're going forward into something very different.
Great way to put it. So let's look at the total solar eclipse of this season. So this is the second in a series of 3 eclipses, and this one the most powerful because it's a total solar eclipse. So when we have a solar eclipse, let me back up a bit. When we have a lunar eclipse, we're seeing that the changes that we need to make in terms of the form of our expression or the form of our experience, the actual acting out of our lives. When we have a solar eclipse, we're seeing changes that are more essential. They're more internal. They're systemic kind of changes within ourselves. And because it's a total solar eclipse happening at the solstice, which is another big turning point for humanity anyway in our year-long journey around our beautiful star, our sun.
It's when the sun is right over the equator.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So these things happening at the same time and lined up with that. So we've got the solar eclipse, we've got the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, the winter in the southern hemisphere. We've got also the movement of the soul path for all of humanity moving out of where it's been for the last 18 months in the sign of Cancer, moving into now the sign of Gemini. So for the next 18 months, it's going to be about communication, connection, finding our tribe, finding our people, finding our platform, finding our groups, and learning how to communicate in new ways, and the value of our communication. So really, fulfilling our sense of what's possible when we show up fully as ourselves, aligned in our clarity, and communicate our truth. Very, very, very powerful turning point for all of us. This Mars and Neptune conjunction that has been going on, I've been talking about all month, now coming into a sextile, linking beautiful energy with Pluto and Jupiter. So we're taking the vision now that's been derived from the first eclipse and all of the energies building up to this one, and we're getting the vision. We're seeing the path forward. We're seeing the changes that can be made. We're seeing the practical steps that can be taken that are aligned by the vision. We're also still, with Venus retrograde, revisioning our relationship to the practical issues of recreating our love life, recreating how we deal with our financial life, our financial well-being. And what's happened now is that Venus, at this point, late June, moves into backing up and retrograding a triangle with Saturn. So that we saw, first of all, we saw the changes that need to be made, and we had a big shakeup around things that were stuck and just needing to fall away so something new could get born. And now we're moving into a time of seeing what that new thing being born is and structuring it, creating the structure for it. So powerful, powerful, powerful total eclipse at 0 degrees of Cancer. And this is bringing a whole realignment of our life direction that are and it's a realignment that must be aligned with our principles, so that we've got a new beginning in a way of the very foundation of our life and the foundation of our business. Don't sleep through this one. This is powerful.
So we've been pointing that this whole year is about a massive raising of consciousness, a consciousness revolution, in other words. And inevitably, when something like that takes place, there are some people that are going to want to elevate their frequency, and some want to go the other way and, try to cling to something that's no longer realistic. And again, I'm coming back to this whole thing about being really, really centered while this is all taking place. The fact of it is, we all live on the same planet. Whether there are rivers or oceans or walls or whatever it is between various parts of the planet, we are all in the same boat here. And this particular eclipse is happening in a way that will highlight how easy it is that we can respect each other and have space for each other in our lives. How we can serve each other by serving ourselves and serving our community. How we can be in alignment with what it is that's needed at this moment. So the sun at this time is in gateway number 15, which is the gateway of love of humanity. It's also the gateway of modesty, modest achievements. It's also the gateway of trust, how we can trust each other. And as Carola was saying, it's also aligned with the destiny path for humanity at the moment. Where we're going naturally is to embrace humanity, to see that, we've learned a lot. We need to have a lot of compassion for each other and what it is that's taken place in these last months. And so this particular eclipse takes place with the moon and the sun together in gate 15 and the third line. And the node of the moon, this life path for humanity, aligning with that. And you'll remember me talking about attuning to the nature of the rhythm of nature, the natural universal timing through the channel of 5:15 earlier on in the month. So now we're having this eclipse at the moment that the moon and the sun are in gate 15 with the life path of humanity emphasizing, let's get along with each other. So the third line is the line that's called being modest, an unwavering commitment to finish what one starts. We came here into this life. We may have forgotten why we came into this life. We may have gotten caught up in the whole whatever it is that life offers us, births, marriages, and deaths. But within that, there is this possibility to appreciate our consciousness in human form, to contribute to the raising of consciousness here. And so this eclipse is giving us a very, very particular opportunity to do that. An unwavering commitment to complete what you start. Accomplishing deeds without asserting your supremacy affects the quality of your whole life. Like, are you just in this thing for yourself, or is that possibility to really expand on the benefit and growth for the consciousness of this planet? The consciousness is going to raise with or without us. We're going into the Aquarian age, whether humanity remains here for it or not. The great thing is for conscious individuals to be contributing to this raising of consciousness. And so completing all tasks while you remain unassuming in achievement. Like, get on with it, but get on with it from a place of our own truth. That's the context of this eclipse. Very, very powerful.
So we've got so much information that to share with you this month that we're just running out of time a bit. So I'm going to just give you the skinny of, are you complete through the end of the month?
Pretty much.
Okay, good. So we'll give you the skinny of how June finds its completion. And I want to remind you about my Life Path special, because if you're called at all to really take a deep look at your life and you'd like some highly professional, profound, channeled, awakened, intuitive guidance, I would love to do that for you. So do take a look at it, humandesign4us all.com/life-path-reading.com. Okay.
No .com on the end of it.
Oh, no .com. I never do this right. You'll find it.
humandesign4us all.com/life-path-reading. go for it. You know, I cannot overemphasize how this will absolutely change the context of your life.
It is a life-changing process, and there isn't a better time to do this. So, that said, I want to say that during this time, Venus has found her stationary direct, so completing a 6-month process here on the 24th and 25th of June at 5 degrees of Gemini, but she's absolutely standing still, which means it still isn't time for big new projects or big new launches. We need to sit with it a bit longer, let it incubate, and begin to make plans that are inspired and start to move within our own rhythm and natural timing. So Mars has also completed, this is another pivotal time. Remember, we're moving up to another eclipse that we'll see in early July. The planet Mars, which is our work in the world, having moved out of Pisces now, where it's been for quite some time, moving into its home sign where it's at its absolute very best, Mars in Aries. And this happens on the 28th of June at that first quarter moon that brings the month to a close. We've got, with the stationary direct of Venus, issues involving money, business, work concerns, our love life, our values, and whatever healing that we need to do in terms of those issues, really having come into our full awareness. And so time now to really engage, if you haven't already, and take action on those things. And since Mercury's continuing its retrograde, we're still in this review of the essential foundations of our life, the retrograde happening with Mercury in the sign of Cancer, now coming up and joining the Sun, because of course at the summer solstice the Sun left Gemini and entered the sign of Cancer. That is in effect the summer solstice. And as it's doing that, and Mercury now retrograding back towards it, these two are starting to move together. So we'll see closer and closer this review of our essential foundations in our life, about the meaning of our life, what is true security in our life, how much do we value family and community. And along with that, we've got some great new ideas coming in, innovations, and we need to be careful about how we position those and how we express those. We'll be back with you again, broadcasting again on I think it's the 20th of June?
Or 22nd.
Yeah, the 20th?
20th, somewhere
Saturday,
around there.
yeah. Saturday the 20th of June, we'll be back with you live again. It's been our joy.
Let me just say one little thing about Venus, the Venus turn.
Okay.
Because, I was saying we're all in the same boat, and how can we contribute through consciousness and through our actions consciously to this particular time? And I'm saying, we have this eclipse that takes place in gate 15, line 3, and we also have Venus doing its turn again in 20, gate 20, which, remember, I was saying before, is the gate we're getting this view. It's neutral ground, one thing on one side, another thing on another side. And the 20 with the 6th line is the line called reflecting, considering those agendas that benefit everyone. So this whole Venus review has had this staying point to bring our attention is we really can bring benefit to this planet by raising our consciousness here. So there we are. There we have it, everyone. It's been our great pleasure, and we will connect with you again next month.
See you then.
All right.
Many blessings.
Bye for now.